Your name, age, and occupation.
Justin Pioppi, 29 years old, and I am the manager of our family restaurant, Luigi's Pizza.
Luigi's Pizza. I mean, I would say you can't go more Italian, but obviously Mario is there.
Mario's there.
How long has the restaurant been around for?
Over 40 years, Mike. My parents have had it continuously, and they've owned and operated it ever since.
Wow. Okay, so how did this happen? Were you always the heir to the Luigi's throne in a manner of speaking,
No.
or did this come up in other circumstances?
Actually, that wasn't the initial plan. I went to school, went to college, graduated with a really great degree from a great institution, and right when I was coming out, the pandemic hit, and my mother got really sick with leukemia.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So she's doing much better now, thankfully.
Amazing,
Yes,
amazing.
all good reports, which is awesome. But I had to step up when I needed to, and I haven't looked back since.
You have to talk about that process of stepping
Yeah.
up, because I mean, obviously it's an environment you're familiar with, but I don't know if managerial skills were
Right.
something you were familiar with. The only thing that we kind of know about restaurant management is like when you have a complaint, you ask to speak with the manager, and that's about it.
It's been a little bit of on-the-job training, but
Uh-huh.
I've been very fortunate. My family have always been involved with the restaurant. My aunts work the front. My buddies do delivery. We've had guys in the kitchen who have literally seen me grow up all through elementary school, grade school,
Wow.
high school, and now college. So we had a really, really tight-knit group, and I always wanted to be part of that. But initially it was just, me helping out like on a Friday night, or just, running food or taking an order on the phone. And now it's like, I'm doing the inventory. I'm helping with marketing. I'm doing the social media websites. So it's a little bit of a jump, but it's been something that I really enjoy doing.
All right, so then what brought you out of the heat from the kitchen of a pizza oven into the heat of Fiji? What made you decide that Survivor was going to be the next thing to add to your resume?
This was always something I wanted to do.
Okay.
And ever since we saw the first episode, my mother and I saw like a bunch of guys, running around naked on the beach catching rats. And I was like, I don't know what the hell that is, but it looks really, really cool. And
To be fair, a lot of Americans were probably feeling that way
Yes.
about Survivor Board.
So I just said, if I have the chance to go out there, I really want to do it. And it's something I've waited to do for a very long time. I only wanted to apply once, and I said to myself, if this is the right fit, they'll come to me. I think that goes the same, in my opinion anyway. I don't harp on anybody who keeps trying and applying. I think that you should keep doing that. But for me, it's like, with schools, with jobs, with even like with dating, if you put yourself out there and the other person doesn't reciprocate, then, it probably wasn't the right match for you.
Interesting. So then, was there a specific thing that happened in your life that made you feel like now was the time? Because it's sort of like, yeah, you have a crossbow with like one bolt in it, right?
Exactly.
So it's like you got to take that shot when you can at a perfect time.
Definitely. And I had a few applications ready, Mike, to be honest with you. My finger was hovering over that button for many years. And every time Jeff comes on and he's like, if you want to be out here and you want to compete and you want to go on Survivor, there's that link below. And my dad would always give me the nudge. And I'm just like, well, Dad, now's not the time. I'll let you know when. But when my mother really got sick and, she finally got better, I was like, listen, she's been working her whole life and kind of in a way playing Survivor. So I wanted to come out here and compete for her, basically. So she has something to watch, and then hopefully in the end I'm holding that $1 million check and I want to retire her.
So you've been watching all the way since the beginning, and
Yeah.
have you kept up throughout everything?
I've kept up through everything, to be honest with you. Yeah.
So then if I were to ask you about a winner and a non-winner, who you identify with the most, personally, strategically, who would those people be?
Okay. That's a great question. I would say, can I give you two winners as
Oh,
well?
please, yes.
Okay. I want to say Tyson for one.
You got the
Which
hair
is
for
kind
it.
of, well, that's part of it, to be honest with you. But he has like this really unique mixture of like athleticism and wit and humor and just kind of like the ability to talk with people, but he's also very, very serious too. Like when something needs to get done, he will get it done. And I think I kind of have that same mixture. Hopefully I can emulate his success on the show. I mean, he's done pretty well for himself.
Yeah.
But I don't want to like, step on any toes of any legends. Another one was...
It's fine. Their time is done. It's your time now.
But I'm a big fan. I've always been a big fan of his.
Yeah.
And then the other one I would say, this might be controversial, but I have always loved Fabio, and I just think like
I mean, listen, back to the hair again.
I think I have to give him credit because it's not easy to have this out here. I'm telling you, Mike, the wind is an issue. I had a ton of sand in it yesterday, but I really liked his game. I think he played a really underrated game. People don't really give him a lot of credit for it, but I think kind of like that attitude of like laying low and being cool and just like being goofy and talking to people. I do the same thing at Luigi's. I want people to come in and feel comfortable, and then at the end you have more going on. There's a lot more under here than just a ton of hair.
I love that. What's your favorite moment in Survivor history? Is it connected back to those guys you were speaking about?
That's one of them. I mean, there's just so many good memories to pick from, and even just like on the show, but even like off the show, Mike. Like we had so many watch parties in college. We've had watch parties like almost every Wednesday night. To be honest with you, there's some nights where I'd be working and I'm like, listen, Dad, can I change the shift here because I gotta get home. So we'll have our Luigi's pizza and we'll watch it as a family. I think that's like kind of my favorite memory, even though it's every week. But it's like a recurring aspect where like as a family, we know we can sit down for an hour and a half and just like forget about the world. Like let's tune in to see what Jeff does this week.
I realized we actually didn't get your non-winner. So do you have? I'm going
to
touch upon that. Who's a non-winner that you identify with?
That's a good one. See, I don't want to go on the hair trend, but I liked Malcolm too.
I mean, listen, like breeds like.
There's a lot of hair in there.
Is this a look you've always had?
No, I actually haven't. And
really?
During the pandemic, you couldn't get a haircut in Mass. They shut all the barbershops down and all the salons. So my barber, who I am totally dedicated to, I told him I would never cheat on him. Regino, I'll shout him out. He's fantastic. But he's from the DR, and he went back there with his family throughout the pandemic. So I didn't see him for the longest time. So we'd catch up, we'd chat. I'm like, Gino, you home? I really need a haircut. It's getting kind of long. And then he's like, no, I'm not home yet. I'll let you know when. And then like months and months went by, Mike. And when he finally came back, he saw me. He goes, don't cut that hair. That looks so nice. So ever since then, I just kind of had it.
I mean, that's a loyal barber. If he's saying like, no, you don't use my services.
Exactly.
I don't want your money.
I still made him a pizza, Mike, to be honest with you, because he was open.
I do like that that's like medieval times, like bartering services for services. So what is it about Malcolm besides the follicles?
I just think he played very honest, which is a very tough thing to do out here. Obviously we haven't been able to talk to anybody yet. We're just kind of like feeling each other out, and you get like a look or two when you headed to the bathroom or at bed at night. But I think the way that he was able to carry himself through a very, very long time, and then he played, a few weeks later when he was on Caramoan, I think that was kind of like, something that he was able to keep up for so long, and that's something that I want to try and emulate.
You wrote in your bio that you were the youngest legislative aide hired at the Massachusetts State House. So talk to me about this. Did this connect with sort of the path you were going to be on before you found your way back into the pizza place?
It was. And honestly, Mike, when I finished high school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And I had a lot of friends who changed majors halfway through their college experience. And, they love going to school, but it was, you add in 2 or 3 years sometimes if you change from English to biology or like a hard science to another humanities major or something like that. So I wanted to make sure I knew what I wanted to do. So I sent out some applications. I heard back from the State House for an internship, and I was there for 9 months. There was a void. Another person in the office, he left to go to another state agency. So my boss looked at me and he goes, listen, you kind of had on-the-job training already, so let's take you on. And I didn't look back from that either. That was a great job.
So is that something listen, the politics of all that, I'm sure is something that might play into this. But if there's one life experience that you feel has prepared you most for the game, what would that be?
It would honestly, beside the State House and going to Yale and, everything I've had in my life, Mike, it had to be Luigi's. I'm telling you, because that's the one place where no matter what, we get all walks of life, people from all different countries, all over the world, literally every interest you can imagine, and they just converge on their love of Italian food. And it makes me so happy because I get to serve it to them with a smile. So when it comes to your prep for this experience, because I imagine you're someone who's got their schedule booked. I try.
But once you found out that you were coming out here, like you said, this was something that you only applied once for, but it's something that was always in the back of your head. What was that experience like? How much prep did you put in to come out here?
I put a ton of prep in, Mike. And I feel like I'm still doing prep in my head. Even though I don't have my phone, I don't have email. This is the longest I've gone without going down there and checking in. It's like, my puppy, because it's like, if you leave it too long, something happens. If you don't give it enough attention, something happens. And that's how you have to run your business. But I laminated everything. I told my father, listen, this is the number for ordering the bread. This is the number for ordering the cheese. Beer and wine come on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You got to do this. And he's been great about it. He's told me, listen, go and enjoy yourself. Have no inhibitions about this store. It'll be here. I can assure you it'll be here when you come back.
But what's the story for? Does everyone at the place know what you're doing, or is there some sort of cover story?
They don't know. And
okay.
I pretty sure my parents know, obviously. My aunt knows, and then one of my really good friends knows because he's been living with us, so he knows. But other than that, it's been totally a shock to everybody, to be honest with you.
Is it just I'm going on a vacation for a month?
No, I just said there's like a job training opportunity. I have had a lot of friends who have tried to get me to move different places from school, and they all have really, really, really good jobs, and they'll kind of give me flack. They're like, you got a degree from Yale, and you're making calzones instead of making money, and I'm like, To me, that means the exact same thing. It just, it's a way of life, and I see it benefit my parents, and it benefits the people that we employ, and my aunts, and I feed a bunch of people, so it's a great feeling.
And listen, it's technically job training. The job is going to be a millionaire, so
yeah,
this is
exactly
26-day training for it.
I like that.
From a survivor prep perspective, have you been making fires, doing puzzles? What was the process before you got here?
I've done everything possible. And, if the health department would let me light the oven with flint and steel, Mike, I would have done that too, to be honest with you.
I mean, that'd be interesting, a way to make pizza.
Yes.
I think it'd take a little while, but...
In my audition video, I had a torch in the backyard. We haven't used it for forever, but I finally got it lit, and I cooked a pizza on it. I was there for a long time with the peel, and I just kind of maneuvered it, and it finally cooked. It wasn't the best tasting pizza, but I made a pizza out of it.
Okay, nice. Well, because I also know you wrote in your bio a bit how, surprisingly physical your job is as well. So it's not necessarily that you need to, hit the gym to get in shape. I mean, you're lugging these supplies around all day, every day.
That's kind of doubled as my gym, to be honest with you, Mike. And
Yeah.
I haven't had a gym membership in my whole life. I would work out at school, or when I was on the swim team in high school, I would work out there. But other than that, I never really had a gym membership. That was my own. But I'm lugging oil around. I'm lugging big vats of sauce. Some of those orders, people are hungry. They take 30 or 40 pizzas, and I got to put them, one on this shoulder and the other one on this one, and I'm walking like this. So it's been good physical training. The heat of the oven, the heat of the kitchen. That fry weight is hot. I've been burnt many times by it, but I think it all kind of plays into coming out here and preparing.
Yeah, just where you wait for the sweat challenge, where it's carry these jars of sauce from one side of the beach to the other.
I'll get that with no problem. Sauce, olive oil, give me any of that stuff.
When it comes to what you bring from your life into the game, what would you say is your biggest superpower and your biggest piece of kryptonite?
I would say the superpower is my ability to just connect with people, and I've always had that. I've been very blessed to have that ability, and I have a lot of really good people in my life who I've met throughout the years, and we've stayed in touch no matter what. So I think that's my best ability. Kryptonite is, I don't know. I guess I haven't been this long without pizza, Mike. So I think we'll see how that kind of shapes up.
I mean, I know you've been told this as well, but Fijian pizza, especially compared to someone that's in-house with it all, the roof is maybe a little bit lower.
Everyone's telling me that, but I'm saying, after 26 days, I think anything's going to taste really good.
Any pour in a storm,
yes,
absolutely.
100%.
Let's talk about some of your competition, because I'm sure you've been sitting here making eyes or assessing what people are doing. Let's start with the positive side of things. Describe some people to me that, best case scenario, you're hitting the beach with them on day one. This is a person you could see as your ride or die.
Yeah, definitely. There's a younger girl with, she's probably around my age, honestly, but she has a lot of hair like me. And she seems very, very, very friendly. I've gotten a good read off her. I feel like, as much as a read I could have gotten without talking. An older gentleman with glasses. He just seems like a gentleman. Every time, we pass each other, give him the little nod and just kind of keep going. There's a younger girl too who's she'll wear some hockey stuff around. I'm a huge Bruins fan. That's my love team, even though they don't love me the same as much as I love them, Mike.
Listen, you are wealthy in Boston sports.
Yeah,
okay.
I have to say, but they have to pick it up. I'm telling you, it's a rabid fan base, and we're hungry for another championship. But she's had some, she had a Providence Bruins shirt on, so I gave her not anything to jeopardize myself or her, to get us kicked out, but it was just kind of I see stuff like that.
What's the main tenet you value in an Alliance member?
I think it's just somebody you can bounce ideas off of, Mike, because I think you're out here a lot with your own thoughts, and you kind of get in your head, and you might overplay something when you don't need to. And I think just to have somebody who can kind of just go back and forth with, and as long as you're on the same page, that's the biggest part.
So then let's move over to the other side of things. Is there anybody that you're not picking up good vibes for, or you're having a tough time reading?
There's a lot of big people out here, and I mean big in terms of muscular and strong, and it was very, very apparent. So that's a little scary to see. But I do think that's a disadvantage for them in a sense. If someone looks at them, they're like, obviously this person's a threat. That he or she's going to win every single physical challenge. So I think that kind of plays into it. For me, it'll hopefully help me along the way. And there's another guy too with a beard, and he just seems like an interesting dude. I really want to get to know him, but I have to watch out for him. He seems like he's here to play.
I mean, on that note, how do you think you'll be perceived? I mean, again, you are someone that is kind of the face behind, the scenes of an entire restaurant.
Yeah.
Is that something that you think might carry over into the game, and you'll be viewed as someone like that on the beach?
I think so. I really do. And I, listen, Mike, I don't act like a Yale grad. I don't talk like a Yale grad. I don't look like a Yale grad, but I am a Yale grad. And
Right.
I think that that training and the studying that I've done, the people that I've met, that's all up here. But it's covered by a lot of hair, it's covered by a hat, it's covered by a lot of pizza, a lot of calzones, a lot of delicious Italian food that we've been serving up. So I think that that's a good way to kind of contain everything. But on the outside, I'm me. I can't hide who I am. I love talking about food. I love talking to people. I love making them happy. I love smiling.
Are you going to be one of those people leading the, like, what do you miss most back at home? Oh, I miss chocolate sundaes.
So I feel like that can kind of, like, play against you, too.
Yeah.
Because I can talk about food for hours, Mike. Like, if you want to have another conversation after this about, like, the science of an oven or, like, how we do our cutlets, like, we can go back and forth, believe me.
Absolutely.
Any recipes you need, you have my number and my contact. You can give me a call. But, I think around here, there are no cutlets. There is no pizza. There's coconuts. There's fruit. There's a ton of fish, but you're not going to the supply store, you're not getting them delivered like we do at Luigi's. You're kind of out there hunting for them yourself. And I want to make sure we'll have our food conversations, but I think I'll kind of keep those under wraps.
Idol's advantages, journeys are, if you will, big ingredients in the new era.
Yes.
How much are you putting them into your own personal recipe?
Oh, there's a heavy dosage. Like, I would say more than a handful, to be honest with you. We got a couple scoops in there.
Yeah.
And I just think on the heels of the 46, I just see like people were complacent, I think, or maybe just they thought that they were okay in the game. And I think if you have something, people are gonna play it this season. To be honest with you, and my mother told me before you go out there, if you have an idol, I don't care, even if you negate no votes, go out there and play that thing, because I don't want to see you come home with one in your pocket.
Yeah. So on that note, it feels to me like season 45, 46 took the new era in a definitive step forward. As sure, you're watching and probably having one eye on the season and one eye on, okay, I'm actually going to be playing. Do you have any takeaways from the past couple seasons that you plan to incorporate into your game?
I do and I don't, and I would lean with the don'ts, Mike, just because I feel like 45 was so, like, it just seemed like an older season where it was like you had a majority alliance and they kind of moved each other through the game. You have, obviously, some people were picked off here and there depending on who won immunity, and then you had 46, which is just like a whole cluster F, and which you got to have that difference, because that's what makes good Survivor. So obviously I haven't seen how 47 has played out. I'm looking forward to seeing that when I get home, but it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I think we have a really, really good cast.
What is your hottest Survivor take? What is your most controversial opinion about the show, a player, a season as hot as a pizza oven?
My friends are gonna kill me for this because they hate this, but we're gonna crank the oven up to like 900 right now.
There we go.
And I think like Redemption Island, not the season, I think the twist is a really good idea. And I know you're a purist, Mike. I'm a purist too, but I think this game has so many curveballs, knuckleballs, sliders, change-ups, screwballs, any pitch you can think of, that you got to make sure you hit every single one. And if you miss on one, you're gone. So I think that second chance ability to win yourself back in, I don't think that's like the worst idea.
Yeah.
And my friends are always like, once you're out, you're out. That's it. You're done with Survivor. You have to wait and, maybe you might get another shot, you might not. And that's just how it goes. But
are you trying to manifest right now? Like, Jeff, can you give me that safety net? Can you give me that strike two?
I just feel like everyone deserves a second chance. I think that, I've been through a lot in my life. My mother's had her fair share of second chances with health, and we're very, very grateful for it. She's had awesome medical care, and I think that, if you deserve one, if you work hard enough, I think you should get a second chance at something.
If you could bring a celebrity or a fictional character out as a loved one, who would it be and why?
It has to be a celebrity?
Yeah, the only rule is it can't be your family.
Okay. I want to say Brady, because I love Tom Brady. He's given us a lot of entertainment over 20 years. Yeah, I think I would go Brady, Mike. And just because like his diet is so strict, and I think out here too, we're gonna have a really strict diet no matter what. And I feel like he can give us some pointers, like hey, there's that papaya over there. Like let's cut it this way, and let's mix it with this, and let's try and do like a fruit bowl.
He won't deflate any papayas.
No,
for you?
we don't touch that, please. It's been a lot of rough years with our Patriots.
That's true. That's true, actually. I mean, that'd be, of course, he has also those leadership skills as well, that ability to just make those split-second decisions. So.
And he just has a focus like no other that I've seen as an athlete. Or I haven't met the man obviously, but he has a lot of fans back home, and I think that that's a great asset in the game. When you turn it on like we do it at Luigi's, and you just at the snap of a finger, and you just get right to work.
Last thing I want to ask is, you talk about second chances and how important they are to you. We know 50 is on the horizon. We know it's going to be returnees. How are you going to make your mark on season 48 so that we're going to be having a conversation a year from now on the island?
I want to run this game the same way I run the restaurant, Mike, and I want people to feel comfortable coming to me. I want to show my managerial skills like time and time again, and this is kind of the ultimate test for all that. The life experience that I've had, the schooling that I've had, the crazy customers that Luigi's that I've had to deal with, and all the great people that come in every single night and feed their family. I think that's like the combination of so many years of hard work and experience and what I bring to the table just for this game. And, hopefully I'm in it till the end, and if not, I might see you next year too.
Yeah, listen, I'm sad to eat. I'm sure you
Yeah.
won't be quite literally, but I'm sure you're going to be serving up something awesome over the course of these 26 days.
We got a couple mysteries ready to come out of the ovens.